Now that they are on the red side, and they have that counter pick, they can go for a more skirmish-based composition once again. It'll be a LeBlanc ban. We did not see that in game number 1.
All right, yeah, kind of interesting to see that coming out suddenly for Longzhu. Don't want Mickey last picking that, I suppose.
It's a pretty safe blind pick, really.
I suppose. Afreeca thinking long and hard about their first ban. And they're going to go with Kindred.
Again, so they did ban Kindred, Lucian, and Trundle in the last game, as you can see on your screen right now. And we did have a couple of those jungle bans coming through. And no Graves pickup, interestingly enough. And the Rek'Sai making a surprisingly high priority return in that game, but it did work nicely. And again, as of the latest patch, the Titanic Hydra Cinderhulk combination has been very popular among top Rek'Sai players in Korean solo queue.
Wow, and the Bard ban actually drawn by Snowflower. It was a great game last game. He played it extremely well. Same ban again for Afreeca as they take out the Nidalee.
And we are going to see Rise be the final ban here. So Sivir is going to be left up unless Longzhu, or Afreeca rather, wants to get rid of it. And they did take away Fury's Lucian. That is one of his all-time signature champions. We think about Fury and the Fury of 2015, and certainly Lucian was terrifying. And with the Black Cleaver Youmuu's Ghostblade build that the Lucian tends to go for in the early game right now, he can be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Rek'Sai ban.
Wow, Afreeca. 3 junglers. So are they just going to take the Elise and force Chaser onto something else? Interesting question.
Yeah, maybe trying to get another Maokai as well.
Will be the Lucian. First picked here.
True.
And it looks like they are going to take the Elise. Now the question is, Echo, Maokai, all available. Trundle, another very high priority pick that
That's
is
true.
going to be available. Lyra, hovering over that Lee Sin. He has been a Lee Sin player for a very long time.
Could still take the Graves too, though.
Yeah, he's one of the better Lee Sin players historically in this league. Lyra's always been an excellent mechanical player, so I think you take the Graves here.
The Graves seems logical. I mean, you've banned so many junglers, you might as well take that Graves.
Really thinking about an early Lee Sin pick.
I wouldn't imagine we're going to see the Karma.
Oh, we could. We could definitely see it mid or support.
I mean, picked right now.
Do
you think they pick it right now?
It's a flex pick. Why not?
Yeah, maybe they will.
Get in their heads early on. So no Karma pick or banned in the last game. Does rise the first round of the draft. This does mean that they had an opportunity here to take Echo and Maokai at the same time, but that would tip their hand a little bit because it would no longer be a mystery as to what the solo lanes were.
Well, it looks like Longzhu might decide to grab that Echo before Afreeca has a chance.
Coco and
Faker.
No, not Faker. Faker's played a couple of games of mid lane Echo.
Too.
Coco and Kuro are the long-time mid lane, like the original mid lane Echo players here in Korea. Faker actually didn't play any mid lane Echo until this year.
That's right. But when he did, it was pretty
good.
insane.
It was good. So we don't know where the Echo is going. The Elise will be the repeat pick here for Chaser. So they're getting us some pretty strong picks. And with 3 jungle bans, it's interesting to me that Afreeca isn't taking any kind of jungle priority pick here. Instead, they may go after that Caitlyn again. Songyun, I think, is hovering over the Jhin because that's what Fury was doing in the last game. Some bumping new champion select music.
I guess so, yeah. Clubbing now.
It's the Pick and Ban nightclub. Yeah. I'd go to that nightclub, Doa.
I'm sure you would. I'd probably go. I'd hang out. I wouldn't really know what was going on, but I'd have a good time. Thinking about that Graves again for Lyra.
I think you go with the, well.
If you want to make plays, you go with the Lee Sin. You want to make the sick plays? Yes, you do, Lyra.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll see what he does with this. Certainly an unorthodox pick in the Lee Sin, especially because it's a Lucian. Because that does mean he's harder to kick out due to his dashes and reposition him to get killed easily. It will be Sivir. Banned last game, but now picked up by the Afreeca Freecs. They built themselves pretty solid movement speed composition. Remember, the movement speed bonuses from both Karma and Sivir are going to be in effect here, which makes this quite a powerful pick composition already.
It's true. Looks like maybe Azir and Trundle over on the other side. Thinking about switching it over to the Nami, though. Azir, Nami, okay.
And going for some more disengage. And this is an excellent composition for kiting from Longzhu Gaming. They've got a lot of protection. They have parallel convergence, tidal wave, Azir ult, all possible disengage tools in this game. And this is going to be...
if they go Thresh.
It's a pure pick comp at that point.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they are going to be so fast.
Yeah.
The Mantra Shield from Karma plus the Sivir ultimate means that their speed of collapse will be absolutely crazy.
Oh, they could give Mickey that Zed and send the Karma down to bot lane, too.
Well, they're definitely going to consider that option. They see that there's not going to be a great split push answer to a Zed in this game. So you will have the Echo capable of self-healing with that ultimate.
I kind of lean towards the Zed. I want to see Mickey play Zed in this new
I want to
era
see the
of
Thresh
QSS.
with Karma and Sivir.
Well, I mean, that'd be fun, too. But it looks like we might see the Victor, a champion that got pretty strong during the Mage update.
He's always been strong. It will be
All
Victor.
right.
Historically a champion that Mickey has played, but we haven't seen it ever since some of those Victor changes came through a while back.
Yeah.
But now that he did receive one of the minor updates here, he does have some more interesting power with his Q in the early parts of the laning phase. So, and especially if you stack a lot of mana, his mana shield gets pretty substantial.
Yeah. Chaos Storm, it seems like, can be a bit more bursty, maybe, too, with him now.
It's a little less initial damage, and they changed the tick times down on it, so you have to keep it on people for the entire duration of the spell to really deal a lot of damage. But you can deal substantially more damage over time now if you can keep somebody in it for the entire 6 seconds, which is obviously hard.
True. Unless Maokai locks him up. Other than that, they don't have a lot of ways to hold people in place, really, for that Victor ultimate when you look at it.
Well, they have the gravity field, so you can always chain those things together. And they do have a lot of move speed. Mickey also going to be taking that Ghost that was buffed pretty substantially in the late game on this patch. So this has all the makings of a pick composition here for the Afreeca Freecs. A lot of single target CC and just ridiculous amounts of move speed. The new Ghost, which gives you now a 45% move speed increase at level 18, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so good. Especially if you start getting some more of those Cloud Drakes in there, Cloud Dragons.
Very true. Can go fast. I believe it is Drake. It's Drake and then Elder Dragon at the end.
God, I don't even know anymore.
I got it. Don't worry about it, man. So, Afreeca Freecs looking for a 2-0 in their very first series of the season. See if they can do it. It'd be a good start. Longzhu trying to tie it up. Let's get in the game and find out who takes it. Let's just look at Bang before every game. Oh, yeah.
Well, we don't get to look at Bang at all in-game this week, so...
No, but he deserves a break. That's right. Welcome to Summer's Rift yet again for game number 2 between the Afreeca Freecs and Longzhu Gaming.
The magic square in the sky.
That's right.
How is it a
Magical
rift?
floating
That is not a
square.
rift. A rift is a valley. There is no rift here. It is on top of a mountain or it is a floating island.
I think they're talking about the river, which is a very shallow rift.
That's not a rift.
It's rift-like. It's just very shallow, you know?
No one would allow you to call this geographic setup a rift in the world.
Oh, yeah?
No. And it's not even for water summoners. We don't even know. The name literally has no meaning.
That's true.
What is a summoner? And now in the lore, and it's not a rift.
So it's like nobody's not rift.
Exactly.
Nobody's unrift.
Terrible name.
Forest.
Just awful.
It's kind of a forest.
Floating island, mountaintop.
Floating forest. That's kind of cool. We'll take it.
Floating forest is significantly more descriptive.
All right. Well, you're welcome, Riot Games. That one's free. Welcome to Floating Forest.
Much better.
Whatever you say, Nami. Just as long as you don't start singing.
I
Or
think that was Karma.
You're right. Whatever. No, that was Nami.
I think she was using her mantra Q right there.
We were looking at Nami.
Yeah.
But we were hearing Karma. She's loud like that.
She is. We are going to get standard lanes here, as Fury will sidestep the first Q in lane. We don't have any attempts here at an early take. Deep forward in for Longzhu, just in case Afreeca decided to go for the Gromp.
You got to go for the Gromp, man.
Is that what you tell your buddies at the bar?
That's right.
Let's go for the Gromp.
Sorry, tonight, guys. We don't have to get up early tomorrow. Let's go for the Gromp.
It's one of the greatest euphemisms possible in League of Legends.
It really is. It really is.
I met this girl at the bar last night, and I totally went for the Gromp.
It's like, whoa, bro, you went for the Gromp. I can't believe it. Oh, all right. Nice snare onto Snowflower.
Yeah, Ignite used early.
Yeah.
This is a pretty
It's annoying.
bully lane, and especially when you hit that level 2 faster, so Afreeca not really respecting. They do have to use a summoner, trading 1 for 1, but a lot of damage down there early onto this Karma.
Yeah. And I don't think Snowflower is expecting to get hit by that Aqua Prison. Oh, I think we're going to see a bit of a gank as Lyra comes up. Expression very low here. And he's pushed way up without any vision.
They're waiting for W cooldown right now.
I guess so.
Here we go.
All right, yep. Ixu coming back in with that twisted advance. They're going to keep chasing. First blood goes to the Afreeca Freecs easily.
Yeah, Lyra just,
what do you expect?
Lyra just darting in there, and Expression pushed way too far forward. Good patience from Ixu, and Expression not respecting the W cooldown coming back up as a possible trigger for a gank attempt.
Yeah. And I mean, no vision at all for Expression, so you play that far up with that low health, you can't really be surprised when you kill him.
At a little after 3 minutes into the game.
Exactly.
Nope. Yeah, that one's on you, top laner.
Yep. Yep. Very true. So Lyra now with his first blood gold going to come into his own jungle. And he might find Chaser. Chaser might find him, gets him with the cocoon. That's a lot of initial damage from that Elise. As Lyra walks back into lane.
Yeah, and we actually have a TP. They're going to make a collapse play right now.
Yeah, they're going to try to come down onto Chaser. Coco is there. Chaser flashes right away. Mickey's been chunked out quite a bit. Chaser waiting, doesn't have that flash. In fact, I believe he failed it, trying to get over the wall, but he still lived anyway.
Actually, Chaser, that was a good flash away from the pit because he saw the TP coming in, and if he had been closer to that wall or not flashed immediately, there's a possibility that Ixu could have just twisted advanced right over the blue pit wall.
Possibly.
So it was a good flash by Chaser, and a good little attempt there to deal some damage. One of the problems with the Lee Sin Elise jungle matchup is that if she can cocoon you and then get into spider form, you basically can't do anything because you can't land your Q because it will be intercepted by spiderlings. So that takes a big chunk of the damage out of your kit as Lee Sin. So you kind of just lose that duel.
Yeah. And throughout all this, Coco
Moby boots damage first. Whoa, Lyra.
Make some plays, man.
He's definitely going to try to. Wow, that is a jungle purchase we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
So this is about skirmishing again in the early game, but they burned that TP and the Ghost early, and these are summoners that they really actually need in order to make these plays. They also gave Expression a huge CS lead in the top side as a result.
Oh, skirmish down the bot lane. Pure taking a lot of damage here. Lyra comes in. Pure flashing away. Fury on the run as well. Still has his flash left.
There's Q.
Can use it. Probably wants to use it right about now. Oh, wow, that was close, and it was
still
a bit too close for Fury. Snowflower picking up the bloodthirsty ignite kill.
Wow, so they were pushed up right there. You don't expect the Lee Sin to just go nuts. I mean, he's basically just not really farming right now.
Yeah.
He has a refillable potion and Moby boots, and his job is to run around the map and kill people.
Well, now Ixu in trouble, gets caught with that cocoon. Expression setting up for a kill there as Ixu tries to trundle his way back to top lane, man. Just make it.
So they didn't set that up as best they could. They gave him actually a target to Twisted Advance to outside of Parallel Convergence, which meant that he could escape even though he didn't have his flash. Hard to make that gank without flashes on your side, though, for both Chaser and Expression when he was so close to the turret. Didn't end up working, but his gold is even, but it's basically been kills for Afreeca because we look at the actual farm totals right now, and they're pretty large leads developing for Expression and Coco here.
Yeah, I mean, if Afreeca wants to make this work, it seems like they really need to kind of keep the momentum going. They need to keep getting kills and maybe channel that into a dragon or two. Looks like it's going to be an Infernal Drake coming up first.
Hey, dude, did you miss the Azir Victor mid lane matchup?
I did not. But
Does it bring you
now
back
that it's
to 2015?
a little bit.
Expression playing risky. He doesn't expect this.
Yeah, should have expected this. I don't know.
That
Didn't
was
have
terrible.
anything else to say there. That's, we knew it was going to be an easy gank.
Yeah,
What do you do?
he did not expect the lane swap to come through, so he was pushing up. Didn't think that he would be ganked by a Karma, who did land the tether right there. So able to get that root while his flash was still down, and a pretty easy kill.
Yep.
Especially when his items were Dark Seal and Corrupting Potion. So against BF Sword, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. A lot of kills being spread around on Afreeca. Oh,
We got it!
Nice. Wow, the Q from Snowflower picks up the blue buff.
Snowflower's been absolutely huge this series so far.
Yeah. Had a great game 1 on that Bard, having a great game 2 already on this Karma. See if he gets robbed from his MVP again if they win this game. Hard to say, though, who deserved the last game. I think Ixu had a good thing, too.
Yeah,
Good thing going, too.
he did have a good thing going.
Yeah.
Expression just bought a cowl and walked back into the duo lane. I feel bad about that, Doa. That does not... I don't understand what Longzhu is doing in terms of their lane assignments right now. You would think that they would want this 2v2 matchup, but instead they're just giving up a lot of pressure, and they've allowed Ixu to catch back up in terms of farm.
Yeah.
So they're going to try and trade turret for turret right now, and Chaser is here to help with that, but they're going to be a little bit behind. This could give the opportunity that Afreeca needs to go ahead and make a play for the Rift Herald.
Oh, they're heading over to it right now. We'll see if they actually end up taking it. Longzhu going to get their first turret of the game. Yep, and it will be a Rift Herald for the Afreeca Freecs.
Interesting priority they've had on this in the first 2 games.
Yeah, we'll see if they give it. We'll see who they give it to this time.
It didn't really do much in the last game, has to be said.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really recall a time where Ixu got, really low, and you're like, well, there's that 5% damage reduction. Wow, and Mickey dropping the ult onto Coco, but it's not going to give him a kill. Lyra coming in a little bit later now. Maybe it was all clever bait. Mickey
Luring him
cancels
into
his recall.
a false sense of security.
I guess so. He's like, well, the ult is down. I'm fine. You're never fine if Lee Sin's around. But who's going to get this first dragon?
It's Drake now, Doa. We're all European
Drake.
now.
My bad.
All the European players, you finally won.
Well,
The thing that was never called Dragon, but you called Drake, is now called Drake.
Isn't there a physiological difference between drakes and dragons?
I think a Drake is a male duck.
Well, that too. So maybe these are just really giant ducks.
So if you're asking me if there's a physiological difference between made-up things, Doa, my answer is I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure somebody's decided this somewhere.
You're now applying hard science to make-believe creatures, so...
Yeah, sure, why not?
Well, there are many reasons why not. Pick one.
I mean, I know the difference between, like, dragons and, like, wyverns, of course.
You do?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, wyverns don't have... Their front legs and their wings are one appendage, whereas dragons have separate wings from their forelegs.
Ah, I see.
So there you go. But as far as drakes and dragons, couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Would you rather be a wyvern or a dragon?
Dragon, obviously. I mean, I want to be able to, like, grab things with my front hands while I fly around and breathe fire on people. I don't know if I'd breathe fire, though. I mean, fire is so mundane. I want to breathe something cool. Like,
A cold wind? That's pretty cool.
like poison or something, you know? That'd be sick.
Ice
Well,
breath?
Yeah.
Be cool like you wanted?
Anything other than flame, really, you know?
That was Longzhu's motto for this season also.
Yep. Well, it's like,
Just let that joke go, okay.
I don't know. I was trying to say the dragon. Say it again. Let me react to it this time. One more time.
No, it's done now.
One more time. Okay. I'll go watch the VOD and see what I think. I was just thinking of what other like elements I could breathe if I was a dragon. Infernal.
Look at that.
Wow.
Wow.
Does that mean it's the next one? Does it appear that fast?
빨간 팀의 포탑이 파괴되었습니다.
Who knows?
Who knows?
What if you breathe rubber? So like you breathe rubber on the ground underneath people and they just start bouncing around?
Is that what you use it for?
Yeah.
Why don't you just breathe fire and then go into a grove of rubber trees and burn up the trees?
That's true. That's too much work, man.
Here we go.
Yeah. Dive coming in from the Afreeca Freecs. Expression in a lot of trouble. Chains coming down for Snowflower already. There's the stun. Tries to get back out with the ultimate, but the Q already landed for Lyra, so another easy kill for the Afreeca Freecs.
Ixu played that really well. He just stood on top of Expression's shadow so that he was going to be immediately CC'd once he triggered his ultimate, and they'd finish that.
Pretty good start as they take this turret. And Fury, they're going to bring the tidal wave down too from Pure, but they're just going to turn it right around. Ixu may have gotten a little bit crazy there. Oh, gets hit with the cocoon, and there's a kill for Longzhu. Afreeca Freecs overstaying their welcome. And now Songin and Snowflower trying to get away. That teleport, we'll see what it accomplishes.
They should have canceled that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to get there. Maybe he will. Flash is used. Afreeca flashes in response. And, yep, that TP, debatable.
No, not really. He shouldn't have used it. I think they'd, at least he's going to get some farm off of it and push the wave up and maybe get some turret damage down. If they get this turret damage down, it will be useful at the very least. But
nice dodge. Whoa. We're going to have to give the Wolves over, and Longzhu taking the opportunity to do some damage to the Tier 2 turret.
Got some farm for the TP. All right.
A little bit. Why not? It's something anyway. And so those CS leads that we talked about earlier really still only exist in the mid lane.
Yep. Well, the lane swap really messed with Longzhu's head when they decided to reassign their lanes, and the tower push just went a whole lot better for the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah.
And we are all even up on towers for the moment. Snowflower.
Oh, wow. Completely caught out, trying to get away with that Madrid E. Flashes. Just barely escapes. I'm surprised he made it out of that
The
one.
dangers of warding by yourself, especially with a squishy champion like Karma.
Yeah.
We are going to see the Youmuu's first here for Fury, as expected. Should be a Youmuu's Black Cleaver build. You can just stack up those Black Cleaver stacks really quickly.
Yep, he had that Youmuu's in the last fight, too, in the post-dive engagement.
Nobody really with armor right now either, as Ixu has gone for a quick Spirit Visage in the lane.
Yep.
So there's not a lot of answers to the Lucian as he continues to get armor penetration, especially since Lyra has gone for Warrior Enchant, Boots of Mobility, and
Nice.
Sightstone. This
That's
is
how you do it.
a jungle build that we have not seen in quite a while, though. It is aggressive, to be sure, and he is also probably building a Black Cleaver now.
He's channeling his inner, like, Ring Troll, Insect. Think of all the
Hey,
aggressive
it's fun to
Lee
see.
Sins
It's fun
from
to
over
see
the
high
years.
damage Lee Sins.
Yeah.
No doubt, and it's a treat these days because while it may have happened in the days of yore, it does not happen very much right now. So a bold move, to be sure. But
So far, so good.
yeah, they've gotten a little bit of a lead right here. Is it enough to really stop the late game team fighting prowess that Longzhu's composition has?
Uh-oh, Mickey gets under that parallel convergence. Q coming back through. Snowflower's right there. They're going to lock up Expression for the moment. Coco's on the scene. Ulting Expression saves himself. Close call.
That could have been a finisher right there. And wow, that was a lot of damage. And Mickey intentionally walked into the parallel convergence that didn't flash so that he could bait him into that play.
Almost worked.
Snowflower was there to provide the heals, and that early game damage spike of Karma and Lee Sin definitely noticeable. So Expression forced to use his ult, forced to use his flash. And Mickey gets out only with a Ghost, which is on that lower cooldown now also.
Yep. Yeah, Ghost just got such a huge buff. Ixu coming in. They're going to try to catch Coco, but he's already over the wall. Escape. Dragon. Next dragon in 1 minute, and it is another Infernal Drake again.
I love this composition from Afreeca. It's
Super aggro.
It's super aggro. It would be very difficult to reasonably practice against this because they've gone for Boots of Mobility Lee Sin first, Karma, Sivir, and Ghost Victor. that's a really fast composition, and therefore they can collapse on you to create picks faster than you would normally expect or reasonably expect if you're Longzhu. And it's very, very dangerous. 2 team-wide speed boosts from the Karma and the Sivir.
Yeah.
And this Lee Sin could be basically anywhere on the map at any given time. He's even winning the farming war now against Chaser, which is a little odd.
Yeah, that is a bit surprising. While Chaser wasn't really part of a lot of those early ganks, he at least, you know, used that time to get some farm, but now Lear's been able to do a little bit more even.
It's interesting that we're seeing Sightstone on some of these junglers too. Not so much on the Lee Sin, because you're going to get that, especially if you want to change it into a red trinket. But because with Chaser and Elise, you wouldn't expect that Sightstone to be there, given the Elise play we've seen recently. But I think this is probably going to be a reaction to the blue trinket changes, because you just have to have more wards down now to contest objectives.
Yeah. All right, Infernal Drake is back up again.
Wow, Drake. Coco just killed a baby dragon in front of you, and you're not going to do anything about that?
I mean, I don't know. I guess not. Why would he?
Afreeca Freecs, saving your own kind, perhaps?
If they get this second buff, that is a pretty big damage boost team-wide.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
You do not want that on a very fast pick comp. Afreeca backs off the Drake for the moment. Trying to defend that mid lane turret, but Longzhu is going to need to be very, very sure that they do not let Afreeca have that dragon. Drake, whatever it is.
Draken.
Drake. Sounds like a video game. Draken. Probably was at one point. I'm half dragon, half Drake, the artist, musical artist. Let's go fight some crime.
Why crime?
I don't know. Because nobody likes crime. Longzhu getting that Drake. Coco kicks back.
Wow,
I think
Lyra does a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think he thought he did a little bit more there as he kicked Coco back to it. Can they get the Drake? Lyra blocked from it with that tidal wave. And so they do trade.
They're going.
Wow,
Oh,
okay.
oh,
Whoa! Lyra, you crazy. Oh boy. Aqua Prison just barely misses, and I think it may be time to disengage.
That was a moment of Lee syndrome right there, following
so.
up on that Q. It's like,
Yeah.
he was so excited that he finally managed to hit Elise with a Q instead of a Spiderling. He
Yep.
had to go for it.
Just gotta make a play. I mean, on the inside of that headband for Lee Sin, he's not actually blind. He's just got it over his face and it just says "make plays" on the inside, so he just sees it 24/7. That's where Lee syndrome comes from.
I don't know if you want to tank that one. Did have the Karma Shield up.
Yep. Well, Lyra has decided that he's going to take his anger out on the red buff, which is probably a safer thing to do for the moment.
Yep. And look at that. It's a beautiful ocean.
Yeah, that's right. Ocean Drake coming up next.
Oh, Drake for short.
Oh, Drake. Gonna go slay the O'Drake.
Could also be the start of a Greek tragedy. Oh, Drake.
Oh, Drake, you lived in the pit and did not see the danger that you were forewarned of. You wear the Ides of March, oh, Drake.
Well, you successfully bridged
We went
2,000 years of history right there.
We went from Greek to Roman. It was great.
Yes, to Roman.
Rome.
Yeah, technically,
Rome? What are you talking about?
Technically, that's from Julius Caesar, the Shakespeare play.
Yeah, he was a Roman dude. I can't help
It just wasn't written.
I can't help it that Shakespeare wrote about him. I mean, Greek and Greece and Rome pretty close.
You can't help if Shakespeare
In
wrote
history.
about him. That implies that you would if you could. If you had a time machine, Noah, would you go back and prevent Shakespeare from writing Julius Caesar?
I'd go back and I'd be like, Will, all right, look, I'm going to be doing this esports, but don't worry about what esports is. It's not important. I'm going to make a dumb comment about something you wrote, and that will never happen if you don't write it, so don't.
So what would you have Shakespeare write? Uh-oh. Oh, okay, we're safe now.
A tragedy about dragons. I'm like, there's these mythical creatures. They're really big, a little bit. Well, in your area, really, right now.
I think he knew what dragons were.
Yeah,
going.
I was gonna say, they're cool, man. In the future, like 500 years from now, people will be really into dragons. So write about them now. You'll be ahead of your time.
Dragon Riders by William Shakespeare.
Yep, that's right.
Might be kind of difficult to stage that in Elizabethan times.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll have to bring some special effects guys back with us. I guess so. This is all a very elaborate time traveling setup to prevent me from telling a bad joke. But it's worth it, I think. Let's just alter time and space for that. That's fine.
I agree. It's certainly not a reckless use of time travel at all.
No, man. I mean, Rick and Morty do that kind of stuff all the time. Fine. I'm not worried about it. And you shouldn't be either, viewers at home. Well, the game has reached a bit of a stalemate for the moment. One dragon apiece, 2 turrets apiece. Gold fairly even up. Afreeca looking for picks, but I feel like they've been stalled out a little bit now.
Yeah, they're just going to set up on the bottom side of the map as they push forward right now. They're trying to get that pressure in all the side lanes so that they can transition into control in the bottom side of the river to take the next Drake when it spawns. Not that Ocean Drake is probably definitely the worst one.
Yeah, it's also like the worst name for a ska punk band ever, too.
Ocean Drake.
Yeah. I wouldn't use it. But I agree. I mean, oh, Snowflower, a lot of trouble, gets picked. Tries to get away. Man, he moves fast on that E. Gotta go fast.
It was a combination
of... that teleport.
Yeah, you can't TP into that. They can get out too. That was a combination of Sivir ult and...
Whoa, Mickey goes in with a Flash Chaos Storm. There's a kill from Snowflower. They're going to do a ton of damage with the knockup as well. Chaser trying to flash away. Turret getting very, very low. Kills coming in from the Afreeca Freecs and from Longzhu. And now the Flash of Expression going back in onto Songyun. Double kill for Fury. Looking for the triple now. Gonna almost get it. Expression picks up the 3rd kill for the team anyway.
That was a great play by Fury and Expression. When they saw that Mickey didn't have any mana anymore, they knew that they were going to be able to take those kills because they weren't going to be able to provide any burst in response. First off, Coco sails in over the wall right here, and he actually does get the stun onto Ixu even as he's getting pushed out by the Ember's Divide. So they get the first kill, but Mickey's going to be able to respond here and deal some great damage with that Chaos Storm. So everybody's low. But look, he has no mana, and Songyun stays 1 auto attack too long, allows Fury and Expression just to get that free kill, basically.
I mean, that 1 auto attack did get them the mid lane turret, but then it lost them 3 more people.
Yeah, probably not worth it. But Afreeca maintains a gold lead. Dragon is up.
And so, it's Ocean Drake time. Longzhu, Chaser fishing for a...
Well, they're going to engage this, it looks like. Mickey's wrapping around. There's the speed. Holy cow.
Wow, Dragon taken by Longzhu, though, and that speed doesn't get Afreeca anywhere. It's like,
well, it got them somewhere, just not where they needed to be.
It didn't get them anywhere metaphorically.
Ah, okay.
Well, there's the Ocean Drake, so there you go. Restore some missing mana.
And health when you're out of combat.
Yep, that's right.
With champions or turrets.
Right.
Oh. Ooh.
Ah, the plays.
Oh.
No.
The vision control. They're trying to see if Longzhu will face check this, but they do have that ward in the river. And they're going to go again, though.
There's the speed going in. Tidal Wave tries to prevent the engage. Coco backing off. Chaser repels. Ixu trapped with that Aqua Prison. And Afreeca just can't quite catch Longzhu again. I mean, the disengage has been good.
Well, they didn't have Sivir ult for that. Mickey did use his Ghost to attempt the engage right there, but engaging onto Chaser, who has that repel, is tricky. Especially with all the disengage that Longzhu has again. They can zone them out with an Azir ult.
I think the Nami pick was
a parallel conversion. Yeah, I agree. I think the Nami pick was good here.
Yeah.
But this is a fun battle, just like our first game. These compositions are very opposite of each other. One of them is trying to kite back, disengage, and control objectives. The other one, Afreeca's, wants to use a bunch of speed buffs to collapse on somebody and pick them off quickly.
Yeah, and you know, unfortunately for Afreeca, they're not going to get the Drake that gives you a speed buff this game too, because we know the 3 that'll appear.
Do we? We've seen 2 Infernals and an Ocean, so we could still see the air.
Yep, but
Cloud Dragon.
the Mountain Drake
Ah,
icon was on the pit,
I didn't
so
see it.
spoiler alert.
Damage to turrets. That's going to be really good for Longzhu, actually,
Yeah.
who has a strong siege composition.
Yeah, well, Yomu's popped for Fury. He tried to get as much damage onto that turret as he can, and they get it. 3 turrets to 3 now. Longzhu equalizes.
We're just about dead even when it comes to gold, too. And this is where Longzhu fell apart last game.
Oh, Lyra gets caught out completely. Manages to W back onto Snowflower. Fury chasing with the culling.
Didn't have flash, but didn't need to use it. His safeguard. And yeah, Afreeca, they haven't found those early picks. And Longzhu, this is where they fell apart, I was saying last game, though, which is doing what their composition needed them to do, which is bait this Baron. But it looks like they've made some adjustments in this one, and they are starting to sit around the Baron pit and play around the vision here, which is fantastic for them because they want to be trying to force these 5-man team fights if they can. Somehow they've gotten pressure onto all 3 lanes right now. That shouldn't happen if you're Afreeca.
Huh. Pretty scary in that top jungle, too.
Longzhu has to be really concerned if they start splitting up like this.
Oh, Lyra caught again. And nowhere really to go this time. Turns around, kicks Fury. Fury in a little bit of trouble, trying to do the damage, and that Lee Sin just not able to do quite enough.
Wow, that was so close.
It was.
For Fury, though. Red buff doing a little bit of burn work on him, too.
Yeah.
They get the kill onto Lee Sin, but they need to transition this into something.
And you do get like a tick of red buff immediately when you hit somebody too now.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more initial burst as well.
Well, every time you hit them. So
Right.
you get a burn tick every time you auto them. It used to be where it would just be a damage over time that was reapplied for the duration, but now you apply that first tick of damage every time you hit them. So it's not a lot more damage, but it is some more.
Hey, when you get as low as Fury did, that it might
Yep.
make the difference.
Absolutely.
Another auto or two, and that might have been a kill.
Double Rylai's here from Longzhu now, as expected. Does make the speed composition a little bit trickier to run for Afreeca. So, Phantom Dancer now done too. Big crit build here for Fury, Armor Shred. Crit.
Yeah, I mean, letting Fury have that Lucian was
Well, they
great
banned it in
thing.
game number 1. There's
Yeah.
a reason it's really, really strong right now.
I think if we go to a game 3, which it looks like we certainly might, probably going to see that Lucian banned again. Oh, but first, we'll see a pause.
Our first series, Doa, and our first glorious Korean pause.
Hooray, but where's our first Bug Splat? We haven't had that yet.
Oh, that's coming in the next game.
All right.
We gotta work our way up to Bug Splat.
Awesome. I'm excited. You see the Bug Splat icon on the Drake pit? Dragon pit. Coco, having a bit of a better game this time around.
They didn't have a bad game. They just played their team composition wrong to the win conditions in the last game.
We'll see what the problem is. We probably won't. We'll just wait until the problem gets fixed.
That's what we do, Doa. We're waiters. We're very patient.
We are.
Longzhu has snappy new uniforms this season.
Yeah, that's right. I feel like Afreeca has updated uniforms as well.
Yeah, they do.
They do look good.
Everybody looking good in the new OGN studio with
I was
their
gonna
new
say,
uniforms.
We have an updated studio too, and it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
We're still kind of wearing silly kind of coats, but we look okay. We kind of look like insurance salesmen today, though.
I don't know how many insurance salesmen wear silver jackets.
Well, you got me
Where
there. I was thinking more with the jackets off.
From the Bling Insurance Company of Minnesota, where you're from?
From Bling, Minnesota. Yeah,
Well, the
right.
Bling Insurance Corporation.
Kind of sounds
going
like
door
a town
to door.
in Minnesota, though. Let's see it. They're like, yo, dog, you want some insurance?
Buy it for me. I have a shiny metallic jacket.
That's right. Who can say no to a shiny metallic jacket?
That's what I wear when I go out to the bars, though.
Do you really?
Yep.
I should know this, shouldn't I? It's true. But yours kind
Who
of,
can say no?
well, me apparently, but like not a lot of other people. Not a lot of other people. Looks like the problem's with Coco's computer. We're going to blame him anyway. Coco, shame on you. What did you do? What did you do to that computer, Coco? Yeah,
He's
that's right.
animatedly pointing at his screen. Mickey
It's
doesn't seem too excited about this pause.
No, I mean, he's had a rough day. You know, I mean, he didn't get to fight in the last team fight of the last game. The victor hasn't been working out. He's been taking some chances and kind of dying.
He's died once.
Yeah, well, that's once. Style. Pure style for Chaser.
Worked better when his ID was Real Foxy.
Real stylish.
I feel like he could have started his own fashion line with the name Real Foxy. Would have
I
worked
think
out
so.
well for him.
Yeah. Better than his league career? What do you think?
Depends on how good of a designer he is,
I
man.
suppose. I haven't seen it.
I'd watch fashion or Project Runway with League of Legends players. I would love to see League of Legends players try and make
That would be hilarious.
garments.
You'd be like, well,
How does this sewing machine work?
I've got a I made a t-shirt, and on the t-shirt I put one of my favorite characters from League of Legends. But it's done in sort of a cute style. They probably didn't draw it themselves, though. Yeah. And for the bottom half of the ensemble, I will wear blue jeans. There you go.
Nailed it.
Hey, and we nailed that pause too. We're back in the game. Longzhu still deep inside the Afreeca jungle. And they're going to go for Baron.
Yep, this is what they should be doing.
All right, does Afreeca know about this?
Well, they can't. Even if they do, they can't really do anything about this now that Longzhu is actually committing to this objective.
Probably tidal wave used just in case. And that Baron buff, it does last 3.5 minutes now. It's a little bit longer than it was before.
Gives you more time to work with it. They have an excellent siege composition with the Lucian and the Azir. Plenty of peel there with the Nami, so this should be a pretty smooth road to game closure, barring some sort of disaster for Longzhu.
Yeah. Now they're trying to maybe, no, they can't quite get the collapse onto Ixu down the bot lane, but they can put a lot of pressure on. All three lanes, once again, looking good for Longzhu. And I feel like this is the kind of more cohesive team that that they were talking about, you know, that the players wanted to sort of create.
Well, they played a sort of similar style of composition last game, and they had a breakdown when it came to executing around that Baron. But it looks like in between games they made an adjustment. They realized that the Baron control is what they were lacking. They were more deliberate this game about warding up in the enemy jungle and more decisive about taking it. So
Yeah, it's a bit tighter this time around. Dragon's up. There's a Mountain Drake. And like we mentioned earlier, this is going to do a lot for Longzhu's ability to knock down these remaining turrets. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a little bit of action, but not much. And Longzhu just taking that Drake easily.
and another helpful tooltip to remind all of our viewers about the 6.9 changes. We are on 6.10 now.
Yep. And now, I mean, combine that with the Baron buff, this turret's going to fall really fast once they get a minion wave onto it.
Yeah, that's a huge bonus for this team. Waiting on waves right now. Chaser will be coming up to join the rest of the team.
Yep.
And they will get the Azir turret down, so.
All right. See how, wow, that turret is dying very quickly.
I actually think that was a bit of a mistake.
You think so?
The Azir turret probably should have been placed at the tier 2 location so they could continue this push. Because they didn't have another minion wave lined up in the top side to take the last tier 2 turret.
I mean, maybe they weren't confident of their ability to take down that turret, which seems kind of silly when you look at how fast it died.
And they could still create that same zone with the parallel convergence. So
Right.
I would have liked to have seen them make a stronger inhibitor play right there instead. But they're playing the conservative game, just remove all the turrets in the inner ring before attempting to break the base itself.
Yeah, looks like it's just going to be a very methodical closeout for Longzhu if they can keep this up. So far, so good, though. Another turret going down. Inspection dueling with Ixu in the middle lane, or the jungle, really. That's another turret for Longzhu.
Yep, and that should be the end of the Baron buff. It wasn't a great Baron power play. They got a few thousand gold out of it, but nothing spectacular.
Yeah.
And it will be the Elder Dragon next in his scary purple face.
Wow. That looks really dangerous. Don't do that, sir.
Well, Sivir has one of the least safe weapons to herself.
Yeah, really. It's been amazing for years. She hasn't cut her own arm off, waving that thing around.
Or cut herself in half as it comes back to her.
That too. She does have to kind of reach down in the middle of it to grab it when it comes back. So.
Yeah, terrifying. I'd rather just be Lucio to deal with some guns.
Yeah, no kidding. Looks way easier. And see, the thing is like, Sivir has to worry so much about cutting herself to ribbons with her own weapon that she can only run around, really. Whereas Lucian, like, he can dash and, like, do all these cool things. He's got guns. Doesn't need to worry about hurting himself, you know?
Get out of here with your antiquated, dangerous technology,
Yeah.
Sivir.
Move into guns. Guns are the best.
This message brought to you by the NRA.
That says right. There you go. This message brought to you by Riot Games, excuse me. Guns are the best. Well, I mean, Lucian's the strongest AD carry right now, so I guess it's definitive.
It is.
Yeah. The culling use, pushing Afreeca off of that turret. Baron buff still. Oh no, it's just right now.
Well, this is probably just going to be a waiting game until Mr. Elder Dragon decides to show up for his immediate demise.
Yep, but that 50% bonus to all of the existing dragon buffs plus the burn damage, it's going to be pretty good.
Certainly will be. Siege continuing for now. Wave clear is really good for Afreeca. Cracking this base is going to be quite challenging for Longzhu against a Victor and Sivir, two of the best wave clear champions in the entire game.
So how do you do it? You know, how do you break it? You have to try to pull them out when you're going for an objective? Or?
Well, basically, Longzhu's just going to have to continue to take dragons and barons until they can dive, perhaps, or they can get a convincing enough echo split push going. But it is going to be really hard. They don't have 2 TPs, so they can't 1-3-1. The wave clear is basically instantaneous from Afreeca. Baron will help that quite a bit.
Should. But for now, like you said, it's gonna be a bit of a lull in the action. Baron up in 1 minute, Dragon in only a little over that. And I mean, if you don't have any previous dragons, that Elder Dragon buff is nice, but just not quite as valuable.
Yeah, absolutely not. So value is pretty low there for Afreeca.
Yeah. But I mean, there's value in preventing Longzhu from getting it, you know? That's some pretty big value.
Yeah, you do get some nice burn damage too, like you would have with a 5th dragon buff back before this patch existed. The spawn from Baron coming up soon.
Teleport flank coming in, especially looking for a play onto Lyra, I suppose now. Wanted to go after Mickey. They didn't get a lot out of that.
No, but they got him in position to do the Baron, which is
right. It's
not ideal, but he's there to make a play at the primary objective. Going to be able to clear out some of these wards, maybe. Fury will take some damage.
Afreeca does not want Longzhu to have this one.
No, that would pretty much be the end of the game. Nice zero turret right there. Make sure they know exactly where Afreeca is. They should just go for the Baron. I don't know why they're sitting up in the mid lane right now. Chaser is clearing out top wave.
I don't know. Maybe they want to go get the Elder Dragon.
I think that they should have done the Baron already before that spawned. And now we're in a situation where it will be both teams going for one objective. Baron more important to Longzhu's composition because of how good it will be in these sieges.
Yeah. Afreeca, though, they're going to trade that Baron for the Elder Dragon. And so they will get a little bit of that burn. And I suppose they will get the buff from their first dragon anyway.
And this is the right call. Longzhu just going up the mid event immediately because it will take 8 seconds for them to recall back. So they're going to lose some damage on the turret right here. All of it, in fact.
Wow. Yeah, they are killing objectives so fast right now. Look at that.
Longzhu should be able to commit. They do have the Banner of Command onto the cannon minion. Trying to body block for that. Just slowly whittle it down.
That's right, Afreeca looking for an angle to go in on this. And I feel like the window is closed.
Oh man, look how low that inhibitor is.
Yeah. They can breathe on it and it'll fall over.
One shot really. Oh,
whoa, going in. Yep, Ixu trying to make a play onto Fury. Ixu taking a lot of damage in return as Expression comes in from behind. Chaser a little bit caught out. They were Mickey chasing him down. Maybe they can get a kill. Going in, goes for the insect on the Chaser, repels out of it. Tidal Wave comes through, only hits Lyra. Ixu still manages to pick up the kill on that Elise. And so Longzhu pushed away.
Wow, that is a heartbreaker for Longzhu, not getting that last hit onto the inhibitor right there. The speed, they split up, and if you're Longzhu, you cannot split up against this Afreeca composition. They're too damn fast, and they will get to you, and now we're in this situation where Afreeca may be able to bounce back in this game depending on how many turrets they can get, and if they can actually get an inhibitor right here, which would be very difficult into the Baron buff.
Yeah. Yeah, if Afreeca
their
gets
siege
a chance.
is also super bad. Low range on the Sivir, and you don't want to be walking up to turrets as a Victor either to try and auto-attack them.
Afreeca, though, has managed to give themselves a new lease on life for the moment anyway. But for how long? Lyra now has that Randuin's. He has the Locket of the Iron Solari as well, so going for a little bit of tanky stats.
Indeed. So we see another Baron Empowered push coming in. Can they actually finish off the inhibitor this time?
Probably can. It's gained a lot of health back. Culling used, and there goes the inhibitor. Longzhu does get it. Afreeca not quite close enough to respond.
So they got the kill, but the scaling is fine generally for Afreeca, but Karma and Lee Sin are not going to be powerhouses in the late game because they're so reliant on getting a flank or getting a pick onto somebody. They just don't have the tools to.
Oh, nice.
This little sapling right there. Yeah, they don't have the tools to really win a 5v5 team fight against all the kiting power of Longzhu.
I mean, all they can do is kind of hope for another opportunity like the one they had before, and that might be it. Pure flashes back over the wall, gonna get taken out anyway. Afreeca Freecs finds a pick.
And that's what they've been good at,
Yep.
is they find these targets who are low. Mickey's still going, he has no mana though.
A lot of damage onto Fury, but like you said, that Victor can't cast a lot of spells from here on out. Afreeca looking for this tier 2 now.
There see Coco making his move into bottom lane, but this turret's already low.
Yep, that's right. Looks like they'll be able to get it. Ixu body blocking the culling, and so Afreeca Freecs does manage to take a turret of their own in the bot lane.
Yeah, gold lead remains very thin at this point in the game at 40 minutes. It's been a bounce back here from Afreeca, taking some kills, taking a couple more turrets. And even though they lost that inhibitor, they've been able to push up the mid lane enough that it hasn't been threatening their nexus just yet.
Yeah. And one thing to think about too is just how fast Mickey's going to be moving with that ghost now as well.
Oh yes.
It's going to be very quick.
Yeah, he's closing in one level away from the full 45%.
Yeah.
Couple that with some upgraded Sivir ults too, and it's going to be a lot of movement speed on a pretty low cooldown, all things considered.
Well, Afreeca doing everything they can at the moment just to keep these lanes pushed back.
And saying it looks Songyun actually has more money right now, thanks to his 100 CS advantage over Fury.
It's not bad. This game, I gotta say, I kind of thought at one point Longzhu was going to be able to close it out pretty cleanly, but the Afreeca Freecs have been crafty enough. They found those skirmishes.
Well, it's easy to find skirmishes too when you have this many speed boosters, right? And that was one of the questions I had: is Longzhu even remotely used to playing against this kind of composition? Because this is really weird.
Yeah. And
where normally it might be okay to split up in some of those situations and you would be able to escape, you just can't do that. You have to stay as a very tightly knit unit if you're Longzhu right now. because any deviation, even a small one like we saw from Pure into his own jungle, proved fatal.
Vision-wise, Longzhu's still doing just fine. They've got vision on their side of the map anyway, and a little bit over on the Afreeca side. Trying to get more now.
Here we go, another deep warding mission. They're not going to catch anybody else out. Afreeca has no reason to be outside of the base right now.
Yep.
When the Baron isn't going to be spawning for another minute.
So Longzhu going in on this inhibitor turret, looking to get their second inhibitor of the game. And Snowflower pops that Mantrid shield.
They're not doing a good job, Longzhu, of defending their bannered cannon minion right there. They basically just let Songyun walk up and kill it for free. He's taking a little bit of culling damage, which he will be able to heal up thanks to the Bloodthirster that he bought as his most recent item.
Well, wards being cleared by both sides there. And can the Afreeca Freecs hold on? The later this game goes, I feel like it's not really going to get much better for them.
Nope, sure isn't. And Longzhu again in the driver's seat, setting the pace of this game, and they will be able to fall back in 7 seconds to this Baron. They have a huge minion wave developed in mid. And just take the Baron and start sieging up a different inhibitor should they so choose.
Yeah. Our Baron's up. It's time. And Afreeca immediately moving towards that. They really want to stop them, but Ixu maybe walking into a trap. Nope. Gonna check the bush with that sapling again. So plays it safe.
Blue Trinket used on the side of Afreeca and then immediately cleared inside the Dragon. So they know that they're not going to have any vision right now. Both Blue Trinkets down. Specian is now making a split push attempt. Interesting. Inhibitor is back up in the mid lane though. Oh, Longzhu, you have to be super careful about that. They know where Expression is.
I mean, we know Afreeca can probably still win a team fight at this point in the game.
If they get the pick. I'm not sure they could win a straight up 5v5 that easily without Lyra making some sort of spectacular mechanical play. Which not out of the realm of possibility.
Sure. Well, that soldier went a long way.
Been on many travels.
Oh, yeah. Yomu's pop, they may have caught Lyra here. Lyra getting back over the wall. Now they're going in. That's right, Ixu teleporting down, and can they catch people here? This is a big chance. Expression flashes to the wall. They may have him. Chaser's there right there as well. Tidal wave goes through, slows down Afreeca for just a moment. But they've got a good angle on this, doing some decent damage to Longzhu, and they may be turning right around for this Baron.
Yeah, even though they caught Expression right there, they couldn't actually get either of their damage dealers onto the other side of the wall to capitalize on that catch. So it doesn't mean a whole lot, and Afreeca now just going to go straight up for this Baron. This is a little risky.
Well, I mean, you've got to do something, right? Expression trying to come over the wall here. The rest of Longzhu there. Afreeca in a lot of trouble as Ixu goes in onto Coco. Now, Expression coming from behind. Mickey needs to be careful. Gets jumped on, though, by that Echo. Expression has to back away after getting ignited. Snowflower getting some good damage in. Chaser on his own. The Emperor survived, thrown in. There's a kill for Songyun. It might go good for Afreeca. Chaser so low as Lyra tries to follow him. Snowflower comes in, being a bloodthirsty sport, nearly being a dead one. Nice two-man Aqua Prison, but that's another kill for Lyra. Expression re-engages, gonna try to make some plays, gets out the anti-play, and the Afreeca Freecs have won the fight.
Yeah, they may just go ahead and take this game too. They have some minions to work with in the mid lane.
It's a long death timer.
And that's not how you want to fight that fight. If you are Longzhu, you want to kite. You don't want to split up your team onto opposite flanks like that, because it made Coco and Fury so much more vulnerable without that tank line there in the front to support them.
Can they actually do it? They are tearing through these turrets, doing a lot of damage. Lyra low health though. I don't know, 20 seconds left on Coco. I don't think they can quite finish it. They're gonna try though.
I think you got to go for it.
This is their only opportunity. They do have to go for it. Tidal wave use, a lot of good knockups coming in. Expression making plays. There goes one kill onto Pure. Now it's a 1v5. The turret's going down. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. So Coco comes up. They can't finish it. Afreeca Freecs just can't quite get it done. And I don't know how you finish the game now. Coco gets the kill onto Mickey as well. Ixu staying around to fight to help his team escape. But man, it was close, but I don't know. I think Longzhu may be able to come back and win this one.
Well, they can reverse push right now. They're only missing their support. 3 members dead on Afreeca. It's up to Lyra and Songyun to be the base defenders right now to hold this final push.
I mean, Songyun does a lot of damage, but this was just such a clutch tidal wave from Pure.
Yeah, well, he does get stunned.
It bought a lot of time, though.
And Mickey right here. Let's take a look at how Snowflower actually died. So it actually just comes in with a proc there from the Iceborne Gauntlet. Slows down Mickey enough to help solidify that kill.
Yeah, and now Longzhu trying to end the game right here. They just walk up, take the inhibitor easily.
This is going to be hard too, though. 15 seconds on Mickey, so I don't think they can end.
No, it took them a little bit too long to walk across the map, I suppose. They just settle for the bottom inhibitor. Not a bad price either. Can Afreeca chase these guys down, though? Not with the culling coming back the other way.
All right, Elder Dragon is up. And at least for now.
Whoa, big wave in the bottom.
Wow, absolutely enormous. So somebody has to go deal with that, or they're just going to straight up lose an inhibitor. Afreeca face tanks the turret, and they're going to make a run here.
Elder Dragon is really big for Longzhu. I think Afreeca might be underestimating.
Are they going to try and backdoor this? Where are they going? Because they're going to go over to Baron and ping that instead.
I don't think they can get Baron done, though.
Well, there's a ward on it. They're going to try and brush bait this, but they know they're not doing it, so why would they walk in there? Just going to walk into the base.
Recall time. It's time to get out of there. Recall is not started yet.
No,
now they know it's up.
Double backdoor. Do it.
Yeah, right.
Do it, you pansies. Just both teams run for the Nexus.
Well, Afreeca would have a little bit less to go through if they tried it. Longzhu moving in. They've got that bannered cannon minion. But Afreeca, if Afreeca can win a team fight here, but against that dragon buff, I don't think you can. Here we go, the last defense. Afreeca Freecs trying to keep their base alive. Longzhu seeming very hesitant to commit to this. I don't know when a better time would be, though.
When they have Baron buff?
I guess, but I mean, you've got super minion waves pushing in 2 lanes. You've got the Elder Dragon, and you've got 3 dragons besides that.
It's an intense shield there from Songyun.
Yeah.
And from Snowflower. Lots of shields.
Oh, yeah.
Double Locket plus Karma Shield.
Man.
Karma has a death cap. That's why it's so big now. It's like, why is that shield so big? Well, I have my answer, Doa.
Yeah. Oh, you need a death cap. Tidal wave coming through. Ixu kind of on his own. Flashes back out of the fight as Longzhu chasing. They want to get the win. Ixu still low. Nice Aqua Prison. Oh, gets spell shielded by Songyun. Snowflower turned around. It's a kill for the Afreeca Freecs. They may be able to do it again. Coco trying to run out of this.
If you're Longzhu, remember, you don't have real engage. You have the tidal wave, but that's about it. You want to go to Baron, force them to fight you, and kite. Longzhu should not be playing this composition in this manner, because when they try too hard to engage, it looks like that.
Ixu's got TP as well. He can come down whenever he wants, just clearing some super minions in the base for the moment. Looks like it's going to be Baron for the Afreeca Freecs now.
Oh, this has been a very weird game, Noah.
No kidding. I mean, when it comes down to it, the Afreeca Freecs have just been much better at team fighting than Longzhu.
Yeah, they have been, but they've also been playing better to how their team can actually win this game, which is finding people who are alone and picking them off, which has been Chaser a couple of times now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Longzhu, again, they struggled last game with actually knowing to take that Baron, and this time they seem lost as to whether where they should be on the map, whether they should be engaging or trying to kite. Because right here, all right, you see that cocoon on a Songyun and you want to hit go, right? But remember, he has a Karma there, and he still has his own ult that he pops, so he's going to be able to get out of that and kite, plus all of the lifesteal that he has on his items. So he also saved his spell shield so that he could use it later on that fight onto the Nami bubble. You do see that, though. You're like, okay, Sivir didn't use the spell shield on the cocoon. We can get a chain CC off right here. But you have to respect that how fast that Afreeca can disengage with the Mantra shield and with the Sivir ultimate.
I mean, they're so quick, and they've got all these shields, too. So the squishiness of Afreeca is very deceptive, because they're actually not that squishy.
Yeah, especially double locket and the Karma shield. Plus, you're just not going to get that many abilities off that actually land, because they will just be out of range.
Right. Now they've got the Baron buff. Still don't have really great siege, of course.
No, terrible. Terrible. Like, they've got great wave clear, but they have nobody who can walk up to attack the turret.
Right.
So they're going to do this instead.
Oh, they're going to get that turret. Walking up to it pretty easily. And can they get the inhibitor? I don't know. It would mean a fight. Expression gets a stun onto Ixu. There goes the inhibitor. Now Afreeca just backing away. They're satisfied with that. Poised play from the Afreeca Freecs at the end there. Actually, Chaos Storm does go down. They're going to make a push, just shoving people off of this Azir turret. Afreeca Freecs going for their second inhibitor. They're going to have two in their favor now.
Yeah, 2-2. But somebody has to go stop that bottom wave, which has been the one developing without anybody there to clear the wave.
Yep, got to protect those Nexus turrets. And they may lose a Nexus turret here.
So the problem with the Elder Dragon, Noah, is that since it only spawns once every 10 minutes, it does, when we get into this point in the game, make it very difficult to close, because usually you'd have to make some sort of desperate play to prevent somebody from stacking to 5 dragons by 55 minutes into this game, and that would happen every 6 minutes. Now this only happens once every 10 minutes.
It's true.
Which means that there's simply fewer objectives in the late game to fight around on a per-minute basis.
And it means that the pressure on the losing team is lessened a little bit too.
Yeah. They don't have to desperately try and fight for dragon number 5. Instead, it's just around the Baron.
So as improbable as it seemed, when the Afreeca Freecs were like 6,000 gold down earlier, now they've jumped out to a 5,000 gold lead. And
Longzhu's shot calling has just not been there.
yeah.
This is a good composition that they're running, but they've continuously made mistakes with it, not played around the right objectives, and sort of found themselves in this situation. But credit to Afreeca, because they never stopped playing their pick comp.
Oh, they're going to use the Karma E to go in, try to take out this last inhibitor turret. They'll get it.
Great use of the Baron buff. Really excellent. It's down now, but they squeezed every last drop out of that Baron buff.
They really did. I mean, they got 2 inhibitors, inhibitor turret up in top lane. And I mean, they're just, you know, 1 pick away from winning this game. And at this point, Longzhu just looks scared too, you know? They look like they don't even want to try to fight Afreeca. And, you know, why would they? They've lost the last 2 or 3 team fights in a row now. Think about going in now. Expression. Songyun spell shields at Ixu, turns around onto Chaser. Sivralt used. Another tidal wave comes through. Expression backing away. Pure has to flash out of it. An inhibitor taken down. That's all 3 now. There goes the last Nexus turret just from the Supermains alone. Expression caught on his own. Chaos Storm zoning very well. Expression manages to get out with his ultimate. Still dies in the end. Guardian Angel going to bring it back in just a moment. But there goes the Nexus. And the Afreeca Freecs get the 2-0. I really thought we were going to see 3 games in this series.
I really did too, Doa, but Longzhu was not insistent enough in their objective control at the end. And Afreeca Freecs, they kept playing for those picks. They kept trying to find somebody and take him out at the end. Well done by them to take the 2-0 here. And you know what's interesting? They did it with this super speed composition that was very different to what we've seen before. They did it with a 1-3-1 sort of split push composition.
I love it.
In game number 1, so they're introducing some new strategies in the new meta.
I love it. It's entertaining, it's effective, and it's a type of thing that you'd expect to see from the Afreeca Freecs, and they played it well.
They did indeed. Well, congratulations to them taking the first series of the season. Longzhu saying that they had those communication issues. Well, they still seem to have a poor concept of how to play the mid and late game.
Yeah. What a statement, though, for the Afreeca Freecs to come in here and 2-0 Longzhu Gaming. And, you know, Longzhu, I think, had a lot of confidence coming into this series. Despite going against Afreeca, they said, you know, our shot calling is, or not our shot calling necessarily, but our communication is better. We feel like a more cohesive unit. And you know, while I feel like we saw a little bit of that today, it's just clearly not there yet, at least not in this first series.
I agree. Well, we'll see how it goes the rest of the season. They certainly have the individual talent to make it work. And look at that, Songyun again. Just ripping through the enemy team, doing a lot of damage. Victor and Azir not doing so much in this game, especially compared to the top laners who are just beating on each other.
I guess so. Very true. Good amount of damage from the Karma, though. Snowflower getting pretty bloodthirsty. He had the death cap, and he had another needlessly large on top of it. I like it. That is how you build support.
50 minutes, you have the luxury of getting those items, Doa.
That's right. And so, makes you wonder where Afreeca will be able to take themselves this season.
And Lyra busting out the Lee Sin, the Moby Boots first Lee Sin. That is not something I would have expected to see today, Doa. Not at all. But it was fun to watch. He did sell his Moby Boots in the end for Merc Treads, which was a much better decision for the late game, and he continued to make plays and get the necessary kicks and help his team out, secure those kills that allowed them to slowly work their way back into a lead in game number 2.
Yeah, that's right. So what does Longzhu need to do? I mean, clearly the shot calling needs to be better, but you know, what else?
Just the concepts surrounding, they just seem like they don't know how to use their team compositions properly. And when they played 2 similar team compositions 2 games in a row, you could see the improvement from game 1 to game 2, but they still weren't able to close. So
yeah,
a lot of work to be done there, no doubt.
Yep, that's right. And so that brings us to the end of our first series.
We are going to have an interview with the players here.
That's right.
In the studio in just a little bit.
Find out who the MVP is for game number 2. Pretty cool. And now we find out it is Lyra. All right. Played the bloodthirsty Lee Sin. I'll give him the bloodthirsty title. He's not a support, but I think he deserves it this time.
Well, absolutely. Building Hex Drinker and Warrior Enchant.
Yeah.
Moby Boots, Sightstone Lee Sin. Pretty damn bloodthirsty as far as early game builds go in the jungle right now, looking to make those plays. And he put a lot of pressure down onto the map early, so we will be hearing from Songyun and Lyra.
Yep, that's right. And let's just check out some highlights.
Let's watch Lyra.
Lyra's oh so good.
He W'd to Mickey, then he ran around a circle. Well, that was a nice cue.
Yeah.
Oh, sexy. Great insect right there.
Yep.
Helping to kill Coco in that last fight. But splitting up like this is exactly what Afreeca wants, because they're going to be able to move faster. If you try and flank them, they will collapse on one of your flanks with the Sivir ult and with the Karma move speed. You can't flank them. This is not a team composition that is flankable.
They're like a pack of lions, man. They just want to separate the weak ones from the herd and run them down.
And that's what they did. Mickey there with a follow-up kill.
Yep.
Help the Vixu onto Pure. Pure slightly out of position. Here's that big fight in the mid lane where they thought they had caught out Songyun. Stowflower coming back into this one. Where's Lyra? What's he going to do here? All right, we're watching him W in and then uses Tempest and Cripple.
Yep. Well, final fight.
Let's check out Lyra again. Nice.
All right. Nice undo Expression.
Pinballing around, making sure Expression not going to have too many options to escape that, but does with the help of this flash and the chrono break.
It was just a lot of disruption too, you know?
Yeah.